So talking about these stacked walls, I would say what is the importance of like having a stacked wall on? So as you can see here, we're having like three different types of walls, right? So here, this is, let's say, number one wall, as you can see here, is like a basic foundation wall, like you can also call it as a retaining wall, but like the function is the same here for us. Also, we're having another wall called facade wall parapet, right? At the same time, we're having another one, or the last one, which is our own actual facade interior wall. Let's say in a situation that we wish to use all three of like these walls at the same time, but like at different heights, right? So starting up from the foundation, some part of the wall should be covered from the wall foundation. Some of them, let's say in between, should be from our normal actual interior facade wall. And coming up like to the roof, it should be like the parapet wall. So for this type of the walls, if we want to go like an actual way, the normal usual way that how we draw the walls and like keep adding them on top of each other, that would be a waste of time. So to solve this problem, we're actually having another technique here in Revit called stacked wall. So if you go on the wall, click on there, and just scroll down among the wall compositions that we're having here on the Revit library, you'll see at some point these stacked walls, like down below there. If you click on the stacked wall will actually like bring this opportunity to you that you can make a profile of a wall which combines different sort of wall compositions, and you can generate as much as, let's say, wall as much as like the same singular type of the walls that you wish. So I'm gonna go on the edit type. Again, the very first thing that I need to do here is to duplicate the wall. So I'm gonna duplicate the wall, and I'm gonna put it as a name that you kind of like, I can remember that well. I would say parapet, but also at the same time, I want to know that this wall is interior to interior facade and wall foundation. So that's kind of like a tag for me that I know that, okay, this wall stack is actually made of all these wall composition. I'm gonna click on OK. Now, if I just simply start to go through this edit part, I'll be able to see the different wall composition that this wall is using. Here is what we have on the default version. So what I wish to have is to simply start to add as much as layers that I have. So first of all, we have to make sure that the wall compositions, like different sort of walls that we already saw that before, it should be all prepared. So you have to first or initially take care of the other wall compositions. Once all these setups are done or different walls are done, then you get into here and you start to add those walls up. So number one thing or number one task is to always create your wall composition. And if you don't know how to create your wall compositions, you have to refer to the video that we have, right? We'll definitely put on the links on here, so you can go through that video and see how the wall composition can be set up in case if you missed it. Here, from the first part, let's say as you can see here, you will be able to sort different wall composition in height, right? So as you can see, this part which is getting highlighted is that part. Number two is the lower one. So as what we talked, first of all, we need to add another layer. I'm gonna bring that up, right? And here, so starting from the very lower part, I'm gonna go with the wall foundation or the retaining wall that we had. So the retaining 300 millimeters concrete is the one that we're having from top of the foundation. Then here, up to some point, we yet like haven't adjusted the height, right? So let's just first focus on the different wall compositions that we have to put in, and then like start to go through the height. Here, among the walls that we're having, we already set up another wall composition with facade interior wall. So I'm gonna click on that. And then getting much more up, the last section on top will be the same part, but this time with the parapet on. So again, just navigate among the wall and you will see the facade parapet wall. Click on that. And now what you have to do is to simply start to adjust the height. Let's say the wall foundation should be like 0.90. That's according to the design, that's what we need to have from the top of the foundation. Then the second part, let's say what we wish to have is kind of like 2 meters. So I'm going to put it as 2 meters. Then the last part is variable, meaning that you don't need to put an actual value, but then technically once you start to manipulate the base constraint, the top constraint, that part will be adjusted itself. So for example, if I'm having level 1 and level 2, like with 3.20 meters, 0.90 meters of that will be covered by the foundation wall. Then 2 meters would be that. So if you deduct 2.90 from 3.20, still you have like 30 centimeters that will automatically assign to the parapet wall. So that's the way how it's supposed to work. Also, we're having like some other options here called offset, for example. So with the help of offset, you would be able to shift your wall in left or right to just make sure that the wall axis or the way how you want to have the walls are actually like getting exactly organized. And then the top and the base part, as you can see, is off and you wouldn't be able to control them. Last, we're having the flip. So for example, if what you're seeing is not the way how it's supposed to be, you can flip that wall. If you flip the wall, as you can see, the organization of like the wall composition will be reversed. So right now what we're having on left will be get reflected on right. But since that's the way how I already like thought to be, that way we're actually good and we don't need to flip that part. So as we can see, super easy and simple, you would be able to set up stacked walls. Then I'm gonna click on OK, another OK, and make sure that you're all good from the base constraint to your top constraint. So according to those levels that we already set up, I'm gonna go with the ground floor. And for the top constraint, I'm gonna go, for example, with level 1. So from the ground floor to level 1, as you can see, we're having 3.20 meters. So what I can do is to super easily create my stacked wall here. So as you can see, the parapet wall is only getting assigned with almost around 30 centimeters. So imagine like the roof will happen from here, and then up from the roof, we're having no longer like the gypsum material on, and it's all brick. So that's the way how you're supposed to technically design and like set up these stacked walls. Super easy and super simple. Now, in order to have the wall tags on, so let's say you already created all your wall compositions, let's say the standalone ones or the stacked wall, and then you want to have like a sheet that you can technically tag all those wall composition in them and like tag the materials in them. That's actually like super useful and handy, and it's like an amazing feature that we have in Revit. To do that, what we need to do is to go for the View tab up there from the top toolbar. So I'm going to go on View tab. Then on the Create part, as you can see, we have something called Legends, right? So I'm going to click on Legends and I'm going to go with, again, Legend. Once you click on Legend, it will ask you for the name. For example, you can name it for example, we're having Legend for Walls as an example, and then you can also put on the scale that you wish to have. For example, what I wish to have is in scale of 1/20. I'm gonna click on OK, and here as the new view getting open, I will be able to start to assign my wall composition sections. To do that, I need to go to the Annotate tab. So you go to the Annotate tab, and then from the component there, you'll go with the Legend component. You activate the Legend component, and then you'll have like a drop down there, right? You open up that drop down, Once you scroll down, you will be able to see your wall composition names or sections. So here, among the walls that I'm having, let's say I want to go with first the facade interior wall. So you can either put it as a section or as a floor plan. Let's say I want to have it within floor plan. So I'm going to put it as a floor plan. Also make sure to have the detail level on fine. Then again, I'm going to open that up. This time, instead of the interior wall, I'm going to go with the parapet wall. I'm going to select that up and put it here. Another time, let's say I want to go with the retaining wall that we're having. I'm going to put it here. And the last one is our stacked wall, which we actually named it after all the wall compositions. So I just like try to take a look to try to find it. Stacked wall, right? As you can see, stacked wall here, interior facade wall foundation. So we click on that too, and we just simply put it up there. So right now, as you can see, we are having like a section or like a sample from all the wall composition that we have into this project. Now, what is important to do right now, for example, I'm going to put it on consistent colors so you can better see the wall compositions, and I can assign tag or like material tag to it. So I'll bring here the material tag, just simply click on it. And since we already put on the material on the description part, the time that we were creating our new materials, if you guys remember, also with adding the names, we also added the same name under the description. For that reason, once you click on the material tags, you will be able to tag your material. So as you can see here, I will be able to super easily add on tags to my materials. For example, that one for this. As you can see, per each material, we're having like one tag. So you can just continue working on that till you're getting to the last part. And also what I wish to have is to have the name of like each wall getting down there. Like the super easiest way to do that will be on annotate with text. So I would rather to have that text on. So for example, that one, which is the interior wall, I'm going to put it as interior wall shared with facade. Like that. And what you can do is to also get into the setting here. And for example, like if you wish to have like a bigger size text, you'll put it in the on. Also, if you want to have like a bold one, you can check that on. And as you can see, you can have something that can technically represent your wall composition. You can do the same thing for the rest of the wall composition and technically end up with an amazing sheet of all your wall composition. So that's the ideal way how you can start from like very simple wall composition till, let's say, more complicated and sophisticated like wall composition, like the stacked walls that we went into them, and at the end tag them all. So I hope you guys find this video useful, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, as I'm always constantly updating the contents to make sure that you guys are getting to learn new stuff and tricks. Thank you.